positivity.
cmpradio.net.
cmpradio.net is the station. Listen, let's cultivate together. Let's grow something spectacular together. Send me your info to info@cmpradio.net. We're looking for content creators, videographers, everything, man. Let's grow something special right here. Homegrown. Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's go. Let's get it down, man. It's your boy, Uncle Pete, reminding you, man. cmpradio.net. Cultivating mature positivity.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mental Health Talk with yours truly. I am Christina McIntyre. I hope that y'all had the best week that y'all could. And if not, don't worry about yesterday. We can only focus on the now. First, give a shout out to my sponsor, Flawless Tires. You can find them at 1195 Chester Pike. Make sure you hit them up so you can get your car right back on the road. Don't forget to visit my website, www.becomeyourc.com, to get in touch with all the mental, the emotional, the physical, and spiritual aspects of ourselves. I also sell my jewelry on there as well. Follow me on Instagram at Become Your C, Facebook BYC Become Your C, and also if you have a TikTok, I'm on there now as well at Become Your C. This topic this week is mental health and bipolar disorder. This disorder is an important one. A lot of people do suffer from this disorder. This disorder actually resembles a lot of the other mental health disorders as well. And it's just a variation in symptoms that will put you in a category as having bipolar disorder. So, a brief definition of bipolar disorder is unusual shifts in mood, energy, activity levels, concentration, and your basic ability to carry out your everyday activities. There are three categories of bipolar disorder, right? So they have bipolar 1. This is having manic episodes that last at least 7 days, and each person is different, but it requires immediate hospital care. And you also have depressive episodes with this disorder. Bipolar 2 has depressive episodes and hypomanic episodes, but is not the full-blown episodes as it is in bipolar 1. And then they have something called cyclothymic disorder, and this is periods of hypomanic symptoms and depressive symptoms lasting at least 2 years. And adolescents also can get this disorder, and they have to have it for at least 1 year. And then they also have bipolar unspecific, because you can have bipolar disorder along with other disorders as well, such as anxiety, depression, ADHD, and also substance abuse compared with a bipolar disorder. So some of the signs for bipolar disorder. So you have your highs and you have your lows. And so I'm just going to go through a brief summary of the highs and then the lows. So if you're having a manic, which is mostly categorized as bipolar 1, you feel very up, you have a lot of energy, you feel jumpy, you don't require a lot of sleep, you have a loss of appetite, you talk extremely fast, your thoughts are racing, you can do multiple things at one time, and then you do risky things. If you having periods of lows, which is a depressive symptom, you feel very sad all the time. You feel slowed down, restless. You have trouble falling asleep, staying asleep. Your appetite has been increased. You talk very slowly. You have trouble concentrating. You feel unable to do simple things, and you have lost your interest in everyday to day activities and a decrease in your sex drive. And the only way to get properly diagnosed this is with a doctor. So if you are experiencing any of these symptoms and it's been a while that you have it and you try to work it out on your own, please do go see your primary care first, and then they may refer you to a therapist or psychologist, or you can go find one yourself. You don't have to suffer in silence, especially if you're suffering from these. You want to get to the point where you actually enjoy your life, right? You enjoy living. You can function every day to day. It's nothing wrong with seeking help. Everybody needs help at some point in their life, because mental health issues can take over your life. And if you don't get help soon enough, a lot of times people do commit suicide because the problems become so overwhelming. And so there is help out there, and it is for you to go get. So don't feel ashamed. Don't hide behind closed doors. You don't have to suffer in silence. You just have to take the next step. Don't let people shame you for taking that step. A lot of times, I think people don't go out and get the help that they need because they're worrying about the stigma. They're worrying about people talking about them, saying they're crazy and stuff like that. And so it's up to you. Don't worry about those people. If you have those type of people in your corner, maybe you should like kind of change your circle. You don't want people that's gonna um, keep you where you at. You want people that kind of support you and uplift you and encourage you to go get the help that you need. Because if you have bipolar disorder, it can disrupt your everyday to day life. It can destroy you. It can destroy the relationships that you have around you, and you don't want to do that. And so it's important that you do take that step and go get the help that you need. So they have, I said earlier, bipolar disorder can be paired with other disorders. Psychosis is one of them, and psychosis is having hallucinations and delusions. And so that is an extreme, and you definitely want to get help with that because you're hearing things and you're seeing things, and yeah, people might think that you're a little crazy, but it's okay, right? It's just an opinion someone has, but you want to go get help, especially if it comes to the point where you can't even get out of bed or you can't go to work or you're causing issues because you're hearing and seeing things. Definitely go out and get help. Also, I'll talk briefly about anxiety. Anxiety is definitely a really prevalent disorder. It's one of the main mental health issues that is um, prevalent in the United States. And if it's paired with bipolar, it can really increase your anxiety as well. ADHD, that is another one that is paired with bipolar disorder sometimes. um, ADHD, you can't sit still, you're fidgety and stuff like that. And then also an eating disorder, right? You can have bipolar and an eating disorder because you can have an increase in appetite or a decrease in appetite. So there are things that you can do to help with your bipolar disorder. Again, I suggested therapy. You can also, once you get into therapy, talk to your doctor, right? There are different ways that you can deal with bipolar disorder. They have medications, they have just regular talk therapy, they have electric shock therapy, they have something else they are trying out now called magnetic therapy. So you have to find some which one works best for you. Everything doesn't work with everyone, so you can try these different things. Medication is one of those things, right? You might have to try a few different medications to find one that is going to make you feel better overall. With medication, there are some side effects from that. So if you can deal with the side effects from it, but it's helping you in your life for the most part, you may want to get on medication. There is therapy. So talk therapy is just talking your issues out, right? You're sitting with a therapist or a psychologist, and you're sitting there and you're talking about your problems and finding a way to figure out what you're going to do in order to combat this. Electroshock therapy is exactly what it is. They shock you to stimulate your brain, but there can be good and bad that goes with this. It depends on how severe your bipolar disorder is and if that's something that you choose to do. It's more safer now than it was in the past, so you may want to give that a try. Also, things that you can do beyond getting therapy or medication is exercise, right? Exercise is important. It's not only important for our mental state, it's important for our physical state as well. The better that we feel about ourselves can affect our mood, and so it's important to exercise. Keeping a chart. And so a chart is just, writing in a diary and writing down your moods for the day, right? With bipolar disorder, your moods can change from day to day. They can change from hour to hour, and so it's important to keep track. And that way, it may be something that triggers it. And so if you find a pattern, you can kind of break that pattern, right? You can go back and change what you're doing and your behaviors as well. So I'm going to give a suicide. The suicide number is 1-800-273-8255. Because bipolar can, if you don't get it treated soon enough, it can lead to suicide, right? And it's important that you don't feel that you're alone and that you don't get to that point where you feel like, yeah, you have to commit suicide because, yes, there is help out there. There is people that want to help and that actually care. You just have to be willing to take that step. I know it's painful to suffer when you have a mental health disorder, but you don't have to suffer in silence. And just letting you know that you do matter and then you do have purpose here. And I urge you to go get the help that you need. And definitely, if you feel like you're on the edge, call this number. You just may need somebody to talk to. A lot of times, we suffer from mental health issues. We just need someone to listen to us, right? Just listen and not, you know, give us advice and not, try to tell us to do these things. We just need to get everything out. A lot of times we keep things bottled up because we feel like people don't understand us. And so it's important to, if you're dealing with someone that does have bipolar disorder, just to be there sometime as a friend, to listen, to be a shoulder to cry on and stuff. And if you do notice someone with bipolar disorder that they are out of their character and they are a threat to themselves and others, I would suggest calling 911. They may need to get help. And I know right now, especially how the United States is right now with racism going on, that a lot of people are reluctant to call 911 to get those helps because there are some stories about people that were suffering that, didn't get treated fairly by the police. But do it at your own discretion. Definitely, you don't want someone that is having an episode to harm themselves or others, so it's important to get them help as soon as possible. If you are able to restrain them and somewhat, and then take them to the ER because they do have a facility in there that can help people with that. So um, there are different ways that, again, that you can heal with bipolar disorder. For me, I offer a holistic approach to mental health as well. So I deal with the chakra system, right? So chakras are energies in your body, and I did a series about these. And with bipolar disorder, your seventh chakra, which is your crown chakra, is located at the top of your head. So when it is out of balance, it can cause bipolar symptoms. And so in order to get that back in balance, there are some things that you need to do. A lot of times we don't want to dig deep, and having bipolar disorder, especially if you want to deal with it on a spiritual aspect, you have to dig deep and figure out what's going on with you. So when it's out of balance, that means that you're unwilling to open, you're ungrounded, you have rigid thoughts, right? You're stuck in this pattern of thinking, and it causes these issues. And so, in order to get that balance, you need to meditate, you need to connect with a higher power, and it could be God, it could be whoever your higher source of power is. Prayer, meditation, doing a lot of yoga, eating foods that's going to provide nourishment for this chakra. um, Anything that's light, right? With this chakra, mainly focused on fasting, but you can have small meals, um, meals that are purple in color or white in color. Water, and then tea. A lot of herbal tea is good to enhance this chakra as well. And then getting in touch with nature, right? And then I go back to meditation. Meditation, it gives you time to self-reflect and dig deep, right, and figure out what's going on internally. A lot of issues that we have is something that we're suffering on the inside. And I'm not knocking medication. If you need medication, if you are at that point where nothing else is working, by all due means, go get on medication if it gives you some peace. But also figure out what's going on the inside that can be wreaking havoc and causing these issues. And it takes time, whatever type of source of a healing that you decide to take, it does take time to get to the point where you have some simplicity. Um, but choose something that's going to help you and best fit for your life. With the holistic approach, just like any approach, it does take time. You have to dig deep. Now you got to figure out what's going on with you, and in order to figure out what's going on with you, you got to sit and look at yourself, right? Figure out what you're doing that can maybe cause, some of these issues. And a lot of times we don't want to sit and look at ourselves, right? We have to, because it's going to force us to change, and change is not always easy. Change can be hard, but if it's beneficial to your life, then it's a necessity. If you're not willing to do what it takes to get better, you can't put the blame on someone else. At some point, we have to hold ourselves accountable for it. Not saying, having a disorder is your fault, but it's up to you to decide when you want to begin the healing process. A lot of mental disorders are hereditary. Bipolar disorder, most of the time, is hereditary, right? You have a sibling or a parent that has this disorder. And so it's important to pay attention to family, those have those conversations, so you can kind of know what to look out for, especially if you see someone that is um, having these symptoms as well. Also, your brain function. There's something about your brain chemistry, right, that's not balanced that can cause bipolar disorder. And they are still working on trying to figure out where this is coming from. They haven't figured it out yet, but there are a lot of good things that they're trying to, do in order to find some solution to this disorder. Again, it's kind of up to you to decide which approach you want, but there are definitely all these approaches out there. If you decide to take therapy, therapy is good. I did therapy for a year or two. It helped momentarily until I found, the chakra healing system. I have never been on a medication because that's something that I just choose not to do for myself. But again, you can choose it to do it for yourself. And then I learned a lot about myself through conversations with my family. I discovered that on my mom's side of the family, we have a lot of people that suffer from mental health disorders like schizophrenia and bipolar and anxiety and depression and panic attacks and all that such. And so through learning that, now you can better understand people and where they're at, right? And so um, I decided that I had to, do something for myself in order to get help for myself. And that's what you have to decide for yourself, right? You have to decide that you're willing to help yourself, because people can only help you but so much. And then you have to do the work for yourself. And it's necessary so that you can enjoy the best life that you can. And that's all I want for each and every one of us that are suffering, because it's painful, right, to have these thoughts and these feelings, and then you don't have no way of how to get control over them, because after a while they do take control over you, right? You become someone that you don't even recognize after a while. And so it's important to go get the healing that you need. And it definitely it's a journey, right? It's not an easy fix. I think a lot of us, we just want something that is a quick fix. Even medication, at least it's going to take a while in order to get in your body to see if it connects with your cells. And if it doesn't, then you have to try something different. Just like therapy, you may have to um, you may find yourself gone through a few different therapists until you find which one connects with you. And then even with the holistic approach, it's a journey. Like I said, you have to sit there and figure out what's going on with your body and pay attention to the signs as well. If you're feeling pain in your head, like if you have frequent headaches, you may need to schedule appointment with the doctor so that you can get tests run and stuff. You don't have to suffer, right? Especially if you've been suffering for a while. Some people been carrying around this disorder. They said at least for 2 or 3 years, and then it messes up your quality of life, and that's what you want. You want the best quality of life possible that you can while we have time on this earth. And um, I urge people to get help as soon as possible so that you can enjoy whatever time you have on this earth, because we are here for a limited amount of time, and we want to be able to live the best life we can. And with mental health issues, it kind of prevents us from enjoying our life the best that we can, because it changes our thought patterns. It keeps us, isolated. It keeps us in the bed. It keeps us from forming those relationships with people that we can. And then with bipolar, those highs and the lows, you may be good one day, right? You may be excited and, friendly, and then another day you can change into a totally different person. And people don't know how to handle that. And so what people tend to do is they isolate themselves from you, and then you find yourself alone. And that's what we don't want to do, right? We're not meant to be alone, and we're not meant to be by ourselves. And so we have to do those things that require us to change. And it's just baby steps, right? Taking these little steps in order to solve a bigger problem. And the first step is to say, I have this, I'm not feeling my usual self. And then talk to your doctor about that, or talk to the people that you feel connected or are closest to you. And then take the next step. Okay, you talk to your doctor now, what's the next step? And then it may be therapy, or you may use like church. A lot of people do go to church if they're dealing with something internal, and that's okay too as well. You just have to pick something that's going to work for you, and you have to stick it out. And consistency with anything will reap rewards, but you have to make a commitment to yourself that you are going to stay committed to healing and see this process through. There is no easy solution. I don't know if there is a cure, or if there ever be a cure for what we suffer from, but there are things that we can do to bring us some peace and some happiness, and that's what we want. We want to be able to enjoy our life and live it the best way that we can. And then I'm gonna give the suicide hotline again. If you're at that point where you feel like you can't take it no more, please don't get to the point where you feel like you have to commit suicide. We want you here as long as possible. You have a special place here. You do have purpose, and it's important that you get the help that you need so that you can see the value in yourself and the worth in yourself. Again, that number is 1-800-273-8255, and then you can also visit them on their website, suicideprevention.org. And I wanted to give one number again. They said about 25 to 50% of people with bipolar disorder attempt suicide, and actually 11% of people do actually go through and commit it. And so this is what I'm trying to prevent people from using suicide as a final solution. And I understand, right, that pain, you just want it to end, and suicide seems like it's the easy way out, but then you leave behind people that really care about you. And then, a lot of people that do commit or attempt to commit suicide and they live through it, they're so glad they did. they were able to live through it. And so we trying to get that number down to zero, close to zero as possible. And then the only way to do that is to, bring more awareness to mental health, letting people know that it's okay to feel how they're feeling, giving people resources that they can try in order to prevent anything further from happening to them. Um, and then again, the highs. Again, if you are suffering from some of this, definitely go get help. If you are hallucinating, have delusions, you have obsessive thinking, your moods are going back and forth, or you feeling sad for too long, and then you can't cooperate with people, you can't form relationships, definitely go get the help that you need, starting with your doctor first. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time out to um, view me this Sunday. On here each and every Sunday at 12 p.m. Mental Health Talk. Also download the Live 365 app, search cmpradio.net, and listen Sundays at 12 p.m., Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. And I also have my website is www.becomeyourc.com. You can visit there. I talk about the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual. I also sell my jewelry on there as well, chakra jewelry to help you on your spiritual journey to healing. Also on Instagram, Become Your C. Facebook is BYC, Become Your C. And if you have a TikTok, I'm on there as well now. It's Become Your C. Um, I just want people to be encouraged and stay encouraged and let them know that, we are out there. We care about how you feel. We want you here as long as possible. And you don't have to suffer alone. If you need to chat, you can always inbox me, Christina McIntyre, on Facebook. I can share whatever information I have, and then I may be able to point you into some direction that you can get the healing as well. And then again, thank you, and make sure that you enjoy your day. And if you are suffering, make sure you go get the help that you need.